We are joined by Michael Pregent. He's a former counterinsurgency intelligence officer for the Defense Intelligence Agency and an adjunct fellow at the Hudson Institute. Michael, thank you for joining us. We saw the police vehicles out there trying to protect folks. You say that this type of thing is not going to end anytime soon. Why?
Well, thanks for having me, Heather. Well, it's becoming too easy for lone wolves or these individuals who want to conduct these attacks. It's becoming very easy for them to do it. And they don't have to kill a lot of people. If you look at the Nice attack, it was upwards of 80 fatalities in that attack. And in this attack so far, 12 fatalities. What they're striving for is the 24/7 media coverage. So it's becoming easier to do these types of attacks knowing that they're going to be covered. And it's hard to stop somebody who wants to kill and isn't afraid of being killed themselves.
Michael, if you just look back in the recent history over some of these vehicular attacks that have taken place, we've seen it obviously in Berlin, Germany, Ohio State University on the 28th, in Nice, France, and other things as well. What do you attribute this all to? I mean, simply not media coverage of it.
No, I mean, this is a war that the terrorist groups have declared on the West and our lifestyle. So if you look at these attacks, they're normally conducted against individuals that are grouping together or massing. So if you look at these attacks, ISIS has called for their followers to use vehicles to attack crowds. They've also asked the driver that once the vehicle is stopped to get out and start shooting people. So we know that the Pakistani individual was released. We also know that the Polish driver was stabbed and shot. So the driver had a weapon, but he fled the scene. He didn't want to martyr himself. So this looks like the attacker, the terrorist, actually wanted to survive this. But
Michael,
these attacks, sure.
So it'll keep going on. What are we doing so wrong? What are we not doing right?
Well, when we get the information in a week or two about this individual that conducted these attacks, we'll see that there may have been a problem with intelligence sharing, because that's been a consistent problem with these past attacks. We need to share intelligence, and more importantly, we need to action intelligence. We need
Michael,
also profile
I feel like
behavior.
We've been talking about that notion, and I guess
Right,
everybody would agree
right.
that intelligence sharing is exactly what we need to be doing, but we've been talking about that since the 9/11 terror attacks took place. Why haven't we gotten it right yet?
Well, we don't want to over profile. We don't want to basically inundate our local law enforcement and intelligence agencies with calls that an individual that looks like a Middle Easterner or somebody from Southwest Asia is doing something wrong. So there's a built-in filter for us to provide information to local law enforcement and also for them to get it out. That's one of the biggest things. But interesting about this truck is this truck was seen starting and stopping as though the driver was learning how to drive the truck. That's an indicator. So those are things that people should look for. If you see big wheel trucks out on the road that are starting and stopping, it looks like the driver's being trained, that's an indicator, but that's also something that we'll inundate our local law enforcement with if people just call in about every suspicious truck.
But at least it gives us something that we can do to keep our eyes open just in case of anything like that. Michael, thank you so much, and thank you for your service to our country. Michael Pregent.